Hello everyone, I'm Colin Kinnett, and today I'm back with another episode of tips and tricks sent in by woodworkers just like you. And there's some really cool ideas here, so let's have a look at some of these. This tip comes from Rob in Australia, and Rob suggests if you're making picture frames and having trouble aligning them up after, what Rob suggests is putting a very thin line after when you're in your dry fit, do a very thin line on all of your angles, and that way when you do the glue up, you'll be able to align the little marks that you have there. I don't know if you can see them because they're pretty fine. And that's a really good idea for people that are doing glue ups and trying to do an alignment. And here's another idea, and I have covered this before. I have what I call a right angle jig, and it's for on top of the desk, and it's an absolute 90-degree angle right here. You can see there's a little bit of a gap underneath, and that's so that in case you get any wood or chips, they go underneath. They don't block your wood, and you just line up your pieces like that. In this case, it happens to be square that I use as a demo, but you could use rectangular, anything. You can make these things bigger or smaller, and it's just a really quick, easy, handy way. And I use it for boxes, for picture frames, all sorts of things, and I get perfect 90-degree angles by doing that. So, but thanks, Rob. This is a good little idea too, because sometimes some of your pieces might be longer than others, and maybe you have trouble figuring out which piece goes where. In that case, that would be an excellent idea. So thanks for that. Hal sent in a couple of tips, and the first one, he suggested using motorcycle goggle anti-fog on your goggles. Now, I don't have a problem with these glasses, but I do whenever I need to wear a face mask. You can see how it can fog up pretty quickly. And anti-fog in there, that's a great idea. I'd never thought about that. So if you have that problem, and anti-fog, you can get that in all sorts. It doesn't have to be motorcycle. Anti-fog comes in all sorts of different formulas for different things. So that's a great tip. But here's Hal's other tip. Hal says that for getting pencil marks off wood, you can use your belt sander eraser. And I've never tried that, but look at that. It works excellent. It's a big, giant eraser anyway, and it even works on pencil. So thanks for that, Hal. This tip was sent to us by Edward, and Edward has all sorts of little pieces like this. The picture he sent in, they were chess pieces that he was finishing, and he can spray them by mounting them to a little board like this and do them all at the same time. Now what Edward does is he uses double-sided tape and puts it on all of the pieces and sticks them down. And you can see I tried to do that, and I get these release paper, this double-sided tape that I have is not very good. You see I've already got a rat's nest going on here. What I do is something similar, but in this case I just put just a drop of CA glue. You don't need very much, just a tiny drop on each one. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use an accelerator on the bottom and just spritz every one of these. It only takes a second to do, and they seal instantly. There we go. Now those are all sealed on there, and to prove that, I can take that and put that upside down like that. Whoops. The tape has come loose on the bottom one there. Seal that back down there, and there you can see. So what he does now is you can use that and spray that, and to take them off, it's really simple. You just pluck them like that. They come off. It's just masking tape. They come off easily, and you're ready for the next one. So that's a really good tip, Edward, using double-sided tape to do little pieces like that. That way you can do all the sides all at the same time. Here's a tip sent in by Joe, and Joe has a sharpening jig, something similar to this one, and I've done a video on making these kinds of jigs, and I couldn't find it, so I just quickly put this one together, and I'll show you about that in a minute. But here's what Joe's idea is. When we turn these on, these are angle finders, so whatever angle they're at, they will tell you the degree that they're at, and very often we're sharpening plane blades and chisels at 25 degrees. And with this little jig, any of these little jigs, you can adjust this just by, in this case, just moving the blade up and down in the jig. You can get it higher or lower. You can get a deeper, steeper, or shallower cut on that. But what's neat with this is you can actually see that read off with one of these little angle finders. Normally these are used, they're magnetic, and normally you would see these on a table saw or maybe even a sliding miter. You put it right on the blade and then you adjust the blade to whatever angle you want and just set it from there. So that's a really cool idea, Joe. I really like that idea. But to go back to my little jig here just for a second, super easy to make this. I think it probably took me about 10 minutes. It just consists of a couple of different pieces of wood, nothing fancy here. I just took some scrap wood that I had here and just rounded it off with a roundover. You use a roundover on both sides and you get an angle like that, and then it's able to rock back and forth very easily. I just put a couple of hanger bolts. You can see there's a couple of hanger bolts in there. I put a strip in mine so that I can make sure that the blade is aligned, and that's really easy to do. Just put a square on there and align that, glue that on. So really quick little jig if you don't have something for sharpening your blades. And then of course you need something flat. And I've from the one of the thrift stores or something, I found some tempered glass and I just put my material on that. So really good tip. But while I'm on the angle gauge here, let's go I want to show you another idea that Richard has with his. Now all of these little measuring tools have magnets in the bottom, and Richard uses he doubles it as a stop for ripping thin strip pieces of wood on his table saw. And so what you do is you just set it up to whatever thickness you want, and then you butt the wood up to it, and now you can just run that through, and you can keep doing that and rip all sorts of consistent pieces of wood that way. Now the one that I have, you can see that the magnet is not very strong in it, so I personally wouldn't trust this one to do that because I don't think I get very accurate cuts with it. But if you have one that has a much stronger magnet in it, that would be a great tip. So thanks for sending that along, Richard. Well, that concludes my video for today. Thanks everybody for sending in tips to me. I'm always happy to get them and share them with everybody else. I'm Colin Canet for Woodwork Web. Thanks for watching.